you been, sir?
I'm doing good, Mr. Tillman.
Hey, commissioners, y'all can now make your motion. You can raise your motion on the screen. That part of the computer's been fixed, so you can make your motion on the screen.
Do we have a tablet out there?
Perfect.
Kevin, is there a tablet in the podium?
Probably so.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, is there a pen in there?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, if any of y'all care to speak tonight, I'd appreciate if you come up to the podium and sign your name. And when you speak, give us your name and all when you start, so we'll have it for the tape, because we're gonna tape everything going on, and we'd like you to write your name to have it spelled right. We appreciate it. Okay. This time I'm gonna call the meeting of the zoning commission to order. If you would, silence all your cell phones and electronic devices. At this time, I'm going to ask everybody to stand. I'm going to ask the Mayor of Rosedale Riley to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, if y'all would, mark y'all's screen there present, so we'll have that for the record. Okay, we have a quorum. This time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting. Now, at this time, now, bear with me, but according to Miss Lynn, they got it rigged up now where we can touch the screen to make your motion. So you don't have to speak up. You just touch the screen and you'll be recorded as a motion and a.
But please speak up, because I'm still writing.
But she's gonna write it just in case. Okay. Could I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
I moved.
Sid?
So moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion? Being none, all those in favor, please mark your screen. Okay. Been approved. Correspondence.
As of now, you do not have a meeting in September scheduled as of yet, but the deadline's not till Thursday. The next meeting you have, you will vote on officers. There will be a change of officers because it's going to be
At the
September.
next meeting we
At the
have.
next meeting, yes, sir. And that's all I have for you at this time.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing for file number 2018-7, to rezone from agriculture to residential minor, located at 3211 Southern Pacific Road in Port Allen, Louisiana, for Nicholas Lamott. Is there anybody here to represent that?
Yes, sir. My name is Ralph Burgess. I'm Civil Design and Construction. We are the surveyors of record for this project. We're here tonight to answer any questions you may have. The simplicity of the project. It's a simple 4.765 acre tract. We'd like to have it rezoned to residential so that we can continue on with a simple resub of the property. A modified T, a standard T is normally you road dead ends with a top shelf on it, as we call it, where you have the same road width. A modified T is a similar situation, but you do like a 3-point turn. You go beyond where the road dead ends and you back into the T area and you come back out. That's what the difference in between a standard T and a modified T.
And so the last lot, 6, will just be accessed off of one of the wings, if you will, from the T?
Yes, the T consists all inside Lot 6, so it can be accessed on any portion of that T. Also, for for y'all's information, the building line is based off the far reach of the T also, so you still have your standard width from your road as required.
They're all a little over half acre, except the one in the back is 2 acres, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you have a large in the back, right?
Yes, sir. There's a pond, an existing pond in the
Yeah.
back. It wouldn't make it inconducive to making an additional lot or anything out of it.
And what type of road do y'all intend to put down there?
At this point, my understanding, we're gonna put the standard apron in as required, a concrete apron, and then it's gonna be some type of limestone, aggregate base in there at the present time. As is, this will be a private, servitude of passage. It will not be owned by the, parish at all.
The sewer system they put in Lobdell earlier this year, will it take up this?
No, sir, it's beyond the 300 required feet by DHH. It's actually, there's a valving located at 415 and Southern Pacific Road, but it's beyond the DHH requirements.
Okay. Look like fairly nice sized lots. Does it have utilities now, or you'll have to put them in?
We'll have to put, well, got loud all of a sudden.
Well, that's good, we can hear you.
The utilities exist along Southern Pacific Railroad, Southern Pacific Road. We'll have to extend individual private water lines metered at the road back to the individual tracks. Each property will also have an individual MODAD unit as required by ordinances. And then the electricity would be furnished by the local electric company along with servitude in the back of the lots. That's designated as is on here. It's a 10-foot energy servitude also.
I got you. Okay, anybody have any questions for him up here? None? Oh. Did you let the minutes show that Ms. Jackson, Ms. Green showed up? Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome, ladies. Okay, yeah, no questions up here. Would anybody in the audience like to speak? Before you go, could you please sign the,
Yes, sir, I did.
oh, you signed it already?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Steve Jones. I live on Southern Pacific Road. I've lived there about 15 years, and the property in question hasn't been kept up. It's been a junk pile, a real big junk pile. It's got things on it that I don't know that the current owners may not know what's in it. 55-gallon drums of something such. Now, they made an attempt to come in and push it all together, but it hasn't been removed. It's pushed in big piles. Big pile. There's a full-size boat pushed in there and a bunch of other stuff. The pond in the back isn't a pond. It's a hole with willow trees growing in it. It does not hold water. It's a big hole. So I don't know what good could come of subdividing this property as it is. All that stuff on that property has to be hauled off to a recognized landfill, and it's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. I don't know who would want to buy a piece of property with a, I don't know, 200-foot wide, 10-foot deep hole with willow trees in it. The property is in terrible need of work. And I would like to see that property in good shape before anything is done as far as rezoning. It has not been taken care of by a responsible individual up to this point. And in order to put homes on it, a lot has to be done to it, and I would not think it wise to assume that all that's going to happen. It's very expensive to do what needs to be done. There's a dry ditch going through the center of the property back there. I assume that's got to be filled in. Whatever, the property needs a lot of attention. You can't bury that stuff that's on it. That's against Louisiana ordinances. To get rezoning with property in that shape, I think you're putting the horse way behind the cart. That's all.
Hey, did you sign the list?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Well, I don't know how they could sell the lots if they have trash or garbage or salvage material or whatever all over them. The question is, go ahead, come on up and sign your name, please, for the record. I'm just thinking in my head, we'll just clean up the situation more than it is right now if you had residences on those lots. Okay, Don?
Yeah, my name is Donald Pack, and I live directly we're neighbors, that property and my property. The property line runs right between, that property lies right between my house and the church up there, Second Baptist Church. So I'm directly impacted by that property. And I've been back there 14 years. And I tell you, it's been an uphill battle, with Raymond Lamont with that property and what having all that. And of course, he's been passed about a couple of years or so, 3 years now. And of course, I've learned that his son wanted to put some kind of a trailer park, travel trailer park, something. I mean, it's all, up in the air as to what he's supposed to be doing. I mean, other than this notice that I got in the mail, this certified letters from you guys, that's the only thing I know. It's been all hush hush and, it's been mowing the grass and all that. And like the other gentleman said, there's a hole back there. Raymond used to burn haul in a lot of stuff that I guess he couldn't take to the dump, and they used to do that stuff back there. So I'm, in that hole back there, a lot of garbage and stuff that got burned back there and buried back there, So that's the impact I had, along with the stray animals and all that kind of thing. But to move forward with what they're trying to do there right now, I'm more or less concerned with the impact of what it's going to do to my property. Because, right now, I mean, when you talk about rezoning, we talking about a slippery slope. We talking about residential properties, people with families and kids back there. It's quiet back there, and I mean, when we start changing rules and what have you and all that to bring in a lot of new stuff that we don't know exactly how this thing's going to end, that's what I'm concerned with, the noise. Like I say, I mean, we're just going to be a couple of stone throws away from all that. So like I say, some of the stuff that I anticipate and some of the stuff that should have come out, he should have come and told us about what's going on. He wasn't that forthcoming. Only thing I remember him saying something that he wanted to put a property back there or start and that's why I said a travel trailer park or whatever, because he wanted to make a little income. But in my position, I look at it from a perspective of what's the impact going to be, I mean, what is it going to do to our neighborhood, with the sewer and I'm listening at something the engineer is talking about, power and electric and It sounds like it's going to be kind of a group thing back there. You know, they're going every house going to have their own MODAT and one utility bill and this, that, and the other. And that's what it sounds like to me. You know, I mean, y'all could probably tell me a little bit better, but it sounds like, and because he don't live back there, you know, we're going to be confronted with whatever the end result's going to be, and I'm here to oppose whatever they're trying to do over there. You know, because you know, it's not going to do anything for us. What it's going to do for our neighborhood? You know, I'm not for that at all. I mean, single family dwellings and what have you, families with kids, people building houses and all that, I'm for that, you know. But I mean, it's just to bring in a herd of people back there just to make a few dollars and all that and destroy the neighborhood and added traffic, you know, that kind of stuff when I talk about impact, I'm not for that. You know, we're talking about a dead-end street, you know, and I mean, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Don.
Appreciate it.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, but half-acre lots are not qualified for travel trailer parks, are they?
You can have half-acre lots in a minor subdivision, which is what they're applying for.
You could put more than one travel trailer on a half-acre lot?
No, sir, you would be limited to, is it 3 or 4, Lynn, on the cap? I think it's 3. 4 or more
and not-
constitutes a mobile home park.
And not travel trailers, boss. Travel
No, it
trailers.
has to be a manufactured house that meets HUD specifications on wind code. So cannot be a park model RV or a quote-unquote travel trailer. It's got to be a manufactured house that has the HUD sticker attached on the inside, HUD label attached on the inside.
And one per lot.
But they are allowed to have half-acre lots, yes, sir.
I'm hearing what Mr. Jones and Mr. Pack saying that, you know, they worried about the neighbors, and like I said, I'm thinking they're saying how trashy it is at this point, and I'm just wondering if it'd be cleaned up, and if you had some nice family homes there, if it wouldn't make a better situation out of what we have is a bad situation right now. But
Would you mind
they
if I,
didn't say whether there's gonna be,
you mind if I answer some of those questions real quick?
please,
Okay,
do
so.
you have any answers to what we're thinking?
I can answer some of it, and Mr. Lamont's back here also, so he can also fill in any gaps that we need to fill in.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that, 6 tracks we have. Each track is gonna have an individual, house on it, correct? On each track. As it sits now in this, area, each house has a MODAD unit as it sits now. So each house would have an individual MODAD unit per track, per residential house. Okay? It's not one unit with everybody's going in or a group. It's one particular, each house will have each individual MODAD unit.
So
Thus,
one residence per lot.
one residence per lot, yes, sir. In fact, there's an additional resub that's adjacent, on the other side of Second Baptist Church that's done the exact same way. The electricity would have to be run to each individual lot with a main along that servitude in the back. Each house would be drop metered. In other words, each house would have a meter. So it's individual homes are going to be built on these tracks. Okay. To clarify about the trash on the property, before he could even proceed with this, he has to get rezoning. That's one of the first steps that has to happen. Before he sinks money into cleaning it up, he needs to know he can go forward with this. To be able to build these, the lots are 150 feet wide. Where if everybody's looking at the screen or see screen of where some of the trash is, this would have to probably have to be cleaned before the division or any building would proceed. There's no other way around it. The lots or the whole track is not as wide as most people would think a wider track would be. Most of the tracks in this area are slender and very long. It is agricultural on each side of it. We are also pushing the ordinance that we have that at 4 acres, if I'm not mistaken, trying to go off memory, 4 acres and below, you must have it rezoned to some type of residential. So we're at 4.765 acres. So we're at 3/4 acre of meeting that new ordinance that the parish has already. So everything we have to do here, it has to be on the up and up. It cannot be haphazardly done because of the size of the lots. You can't just push it to the side and build a house.
Okay, so if we put a road in there Will you have problems with building setback lines or such?
We have setback lines already set in this, sir. Yes, sir, it meets the ordinances.
They've been taken into consideration?
Yes, sir. You got a 25-foot front building line based off the servitude in the front for access. You have the 10-foot building line on each side of the sidelines. And then you have a 10-foot rear building line that's actually adjacent to the Second Baptist Church. This is your rear building line. So all the building will be basically pushed toward the Second Baptist Church location.
And that's taken into consideration a 60-foot road right away?
We have a 30-foot private servitude.
30 foot. Okay.
If you can, Mr. Long, if you want
Yes.
to have any
Could you
questions.
give us a few ideas of what you intend to do with the property?
Okay, anyone who knows me,
State your name and all.
my name is Nicholas Lamott. I am Raymond's son, and I was Diane Collins' son. Anyone who knows me knows, or any Collins know that I've been in construction all my life. I grew up with a hammer in my hand. And that I plan on building nice houses on here to sell. I did talk to Mr. Donald when I first started cleaning it up, and I had the idea of putting an RV park there, but that has changed. I want to build something nice and let it go. And my intention is to build houses at least 1,200, but mostly around 1,500 square foot. I am in the process of getting my contractor's license. I have built several houses already. My house, as it is right now, is worth 400 grand. I plan on increasing the value of all the property around by building nice houses and selling them. I have been limited to what I could do because I have rented out the first part of it to my stepmom, Suzanne. And she has been leasing the pasture part of it. So I have been limited to how much I could clean up. And as Mr. Ralph said, that there is only so much I can do without going forward, as far as cleanup wise, because I need heavy duty equipment. My John Deere is not enough anymore to do what needs to be done. And matter of fact, I just bought Suzanne's place, her house across the street. I'm in the process of cleaning it up also. My dad, he collected junk the whole while he was at Roadway and several years afterwards, and I've hauled most of it off. I do have a big pile in the back that I just pushed it out the way because I want to start building houses in the front, and as I make some money, I can do more. I plan on having an 8-foot fence across the back, all the way up to the last house, but not all the way to the pond. I would like to plant pampas grass along the front, on the other side of the road. I would like it to be a nice little subdivision with restrictions, and I will be building the houses, so they will not be junk.
What size will they be?
At least 1,200, maybe, most of them will probably be closer to 1,500. With the last house, it'll probably be much nicer, because it'll have a 2-acre lot, and it will be facing the other lots.
Okay.
But
Thank you,
that is
sir.
my intent, is to build a nice little subdivision. And if this goes well, my intent would be to try to do the same across the river, across the street. If I can make money, that's what I'll do.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Anybody up here have any questions? Anybody else in the audience has anything? Mr. Jones, let me see if anybody else wants to speak before. Anybody else care to speak?
Just real quick, Mr. John, while Mr. Ralph is here, I did notice, and Rusty brought up the modified T. Each one of those legs is going to have to be 60 feet deep. Just wanted you to know that. I couldn't tell from the scale on there. Just wanted to get out on the record. We'll walk them through that. Should this get approved tonight, we'll walk them through the construction plans for the minor subdivision. Just want to get on the record. Each one of those legs in that modified T has to be 60 feet long for school buses and garbage trucks, fire trucks, et cetera.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, anybody else? Mr. Jones, would you like to finish up with a few comments? Try to make it short.
First off, I appreciate the information. I didn't realize exactly what y'all were looking at. I do have one
problem with something that's been said several times. It's been said that in order to proceed, they have to get the okay before they clean up. That's not the case. You need to clean it up first. The DEQ would stop anybody from doing anything on that property. There's been chemicals in 55-gallon drums. There's still some out there in the pile. I don't think anybody knows what it is. It could be water, it could be something else. I don't know. But in order to proceed, the property comes first. It's not true that you need to get the okay in order to proceed. It's not the case. Talked to DEQ about it just briefly, and the property has to be okay before anything can move forward. I haven't called them. I wanted to talk to the people in here. But if it comes down to it, they'll have to come out there and take soil samples and a whole bunch of other stuff, which I'm sure would be very expensive, and that's not what I want to do. But the whole point of this is you got a hole in the back. It's called a pond, but it's not. You can't ignore it. Nobody's going to buy a piece of property with a hole with a bunch of willow trees growing in it. Nobody's going to do that. It's a good place to hide snakes, but that's all it's good for. The big piles of rubbish are going to cost money to get hauled off. They're big piles. We got boats and stuff in these piles. And it's got to go to an authorized landfill. Changing it and then hoping that happens, not the way to proceed, my humble opinion. If you want to build a subdivision, you got to start the right way. Yeah, money's involved. In order to make money, you have to spend some money, and that's money that's got to be spent up front to get the land in proper order to do it. I think the plans Mr. Lamont has are great. The only problem is it'll inconvenience him to have to spend the money, but that's why it's expensive to build a subdivision. The infrastructure for it and everything else costs money. Once you finish that, you can zoom right along and do the easier part. So that's, I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, and that's what it looked like we were hearing, and that is not the case. You get the land fixed first. You don't build houses and say, well, I'll keep pushing the pile to the back as I make money and continue to fix it. Well, what are we going to do about this hole full of willow trees? You're talking about the big lots in the back. No, he's going to build a house, buy a house on a lot that's straight across the street from it's about 8 foot deep hole, size of a pond, but it will not and does not hold water. You can't mow it, you can't trim it, you can't cut it. It's just there. So, just a few more things to think about.
Thank you, sir. Well,
Mr. John, I think Mr. Lamont wanted to speak. Did you have something to say?
If anybody been paying attention, I have considerably cleaned up around there. I hauled everything that could haul to the scrapyard, I've hauled to the scrapyard. All the tires, I've hauled to environmental waste on the river road. I am cleaning it up the best I can with what I have. And before I could go any further, like I said, the fence is up because my stepmom has rented the pasture part of it, and that's in the front. That's what I need to attack next, first. She is moving to Puerto Rico, and I will be doing that soon. There's only so much I can do with my little tractor. And I've already spent $5,000 over there. And I have another $5,000 to spend on the surveying and to get it divided up. There's only one big pile back there with a fiberglass boat that I'm gonna start breaking down and putting to the road, and I will get the parish to pick it up, pick whatever they can up, I'll have them pick up. Whatever they can't, I won't. There is absolutely no hazardous waste there. Everything that's been there for years, and whatever, and my dad never brought any hazardous waste there. He had drums there, we sold drums. We had cow trailers and trailers over there with trees growing through them. I had a hell of a time cleaning that place up to where it is now, and there's only one big pile right now. And I do need to attack it, move the boat to the front, but like I said, the fence been in the way. The horse has been in the way. I need to get that out of the way before I can start doing that. And like I said, I would like to get started on the first house because I only have so much money. And I will clean up the first lot, clean and get the pile down. And as far as the hole in the back, I've seen several houses with ponds. And there's no doubt in my mind that the last lot with a bigger house will sell much better than any other houses I'm gonna build. I know several people that would love to have, they can make their own pond out of it if they want. I can dig out of it to build the paths for the houses. This is not gonna be a liability. It's only gonna be a liability to the person with the last house. It's gonna be his place.
Okay, thank you, sir. Well, I've known your father and your uncle for 50 years, and by your own admission, your daddy did like to collect salvage. And I know the property he had right there on Plantation, they were trying to clean it up 3 months ago and burned down a track hole on the place. So they were trying to clean it up at that time, though. So I don't know if you had anything to do with that or not. Huh? You cleaned it up? Okay, so, you know, I mean, Mr. Jones, he wants to protect his property. Mr. Pack, he's got a beautiful home right adjacent to your property, so he wants to make sure that his property doesn't go down in value with the things you're building. So, you know, it'd be required, you know, not be required, but I mean, it'd be something they'd feel better if you would build something that would benefit them and increase their property value rather than lower it. So, anybody else? Mr. Pack, you want?
One thing I want to just reply to what Mr. Lamont said. Now, if you got a $300,000-$400,000 house, I've never seen where a $100,000 house gonna appreciate my value of my house. I've never seen that work. That's arithmetic I don't understand. So having said that, I still say that I'm still concerned about the kind of, because you're talking about 1,200-foot houses. I mean, 1,200 square foot houses. You know, and here I got almost a 6,000-foot house. So there's no equal there nowhere. You know, the value is not even there. So the only thing he could bring into that neighborhood is to devalue my property because of that, you know, because of that move. And because of all the all the unknowns that you're dealing with, and also trying to come before this council here and ask for permission to do something without even, in other words, putting the cart before the horse. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I'm sure y'all probably hear all this, because I know I'm hearing it. So it's up to y'all. I mean, this is y'all business. That's what y'all do. Y'all rezone things and all that kind of stuff. But I'm still not for it.
In fact, we're trying to do what's best for the parish. One more comment, and then I'm on.
Okay, I want to address this down. All the houses I plan on building will be mixture of brick and stucco, brick and stucco. They will be, I started off with 1,200, but like I said, most of them be about 1,500 square foot living. And if anybody that sells a house know that it sells by the foot. It's much easier to get $130 a foot for a $1,500 house than it is to get for a 6,000 square foot house. I had a 6,000 square foot house. I know this for a fact. And I just want to say that all I am trying to do is make everybody's value go up and make a little money doing it. And that is it.
Well, Mr. Lamont, would you commit to 1,500 or bigger?
I could. I just want to make sure it sells. Because, I mean, like, you know, maybe somebody with a 15, ready to put $200,000 down on a house, don't want a big church in the backyard or a trucking company across the street. So, I mean,
That's a good point.
it's not like this is a gated subdivision I gotta build. There's only so much I can do because there's very few houses back there worth $500,000. So I don't need to be spending $500,000 on a house.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, okay.
We had an image up of the area. Can we bring that image back up? All right, can you zoom out just a little bit, please? Oh, wrong way. There we go.
It's sensitive. How about that one?
All right, we're discussing rezoning a piece of property that's actually not in use right now. It's basically a field with trash on it. To the left is the Second Baptist Church. Wait till Miss Lynn gets done moving around.
I'm sorry, you want me to zoom back out?
Just a little bit closer. I just want the properties to be close to the property in question. Okay, that's good. We'll start right there. Is a church adjacent to. And then adjacent to the church is actually our business, Civil Design and Construction. Behind that is also several residents that are divided up on that servitude that goes to the back also. Mr. Pack, again, has the nicer houses on to the right. Across the street, if we look across the street, Ms. Lincoln, if you pan north, we have an older house, and then everything else around it is mobile homes, older mobile homes. In fact, this image of this area is actually quite antiquated because the track in front of the Second Baptist Church has been another mobile home moved into the front of that property also. So everything that's been done in this particular area all has manufactured homes in it or is in older decay of houses in this area. I understand about the appraisals that the concern is about the cleanup. Yes, if you're getting money from a bank, you have to show motion forward before you can get money from the bank to be able to do cleanup if it's outside your realm of finances. So this is a step forward to be able to clean up the property. Things have to be done to mitigate or remediate, however you want to put it, to be able to do this property. So there's steps that has to be done with that. So my point being that if there's anything that's being done here, even if it's a 1,200 square foot house, a 1,500 square foot house, a 2,000 square foot house, it's actually an improvement to the area that's already in this particular area because you have a commercial development, you have a commercial business, which is our business, you have a church, which is adjacent to it, you have Mr. Pack's house, who's adjacent, which is a higher residential. Across the street from them is multiple mobile homes are an older and decaying effect across the street. And again, some other mobile homes put in across the street from the Second Baptist Church. So you're actually the owner is willing to clean up the property and place a single-family residence that is a house structure instead of a mobile home or manufactured home structure in that area. And then that's just based on the rezoning application.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anybody up here on the commission have anything? At this time, I'm gonna close the public hearing. Entertain a motion to dispense with this item. Anybody want to make a motion?
Make a motion recommended for approval.
Okay. Touch the raise motion right there, touch that. Motion and second that it be recommended for approval. Is there any discussion? Being none, everybody mark your ballot.
Ms. Joyce?
Okay,
Unanimous.
the motion passed. Thank y'all. Okay, at this time, I'm gonna open up the public hearing again. For item number 2018-08, rezone from agriculture to rural single-family 2 for Randy Wales.
My name is is Randy Wales. And I am wanting to,
Could you speak up a little bit, please?
yes, sir. I am wanting to change from agricultural to RSF2, single-family dwelling. Adding three, is for 3 lots, and not need no, they're 80 by 120, the lots, so I wouldn't need no variance, or asking for any variance. And it's to make improvements also on the property.
So I didn't hear you, Randy, what's it for? What's it for?
I'm for RSF2, single dwelling, family home. I've made some
I'm looking
improvements.
at it here, I'm trying to figure out who it's next to.
He's right down Ted's Lane, Mr. John. I rode out there, I saw where he
Right
at.
along that Ted's Lane.
Yeah, and it turns into West Parkway. So you got a fire hydrant right across the street, I believe.
Yeah, this would be right on West Parkway
Yeah.
Drive. It was, from the map, it was a lot of debris. I have removed it and brought it to the dump.
Yeah,
It was a
looked
lot of
pretty-
debris.
It looked pretty cleaned up.
It's got a few tires left, but was quite a bit of debris on the land.
And what do you intend to do with it?
Put some newer mobile homes there. 3. Or I might put some houses, but think it's going to be some newer, trying to make improvements to the property. I also have a piece of property from Marcus Shaw, which is right next door, so acquired that also, so I could actually clean it up in the area, because it's a lot of debris there also. So I purchased it just so I could clean it up also.
That's the next property as you're going up West Parkway that you're talking about?
Yes, sir. It's a really old mobile home there.
Yeah, I saw it.
So my intention is to pull that out, and so it won't be an eyesore there also.
Can you repeat, I missed that part. Did you say you purchased 1399 West Parkway? Or
Yes.
or going to purchase?
It's in the, yes, yes.
Because again, the number of mobile homes is gonna kick in, you know, if it's the same property owner that owns adjacent pieces of land, you're limited to 3.
It's in somebody else's, I'm putting it in somebody else's name. And actually, someone that's worked for me for a long time, it's in his name.
It's the same property owner, you're limited
Yes.
to 3 manufactured.
It would be in Terry McLemore's name. It's his house. I'm gonna put him a mobile home there. And it'll be his.
Well, you
And his
have,
land. I mean, his,
I'm trying to figure it out, you got 564 foot, would that be on West Parkway Drive itself?
Yes, I guess.
yes, sir.
It would be?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when you get north of there, where it narrows down to 119 feet, 116 feet, how would you get to that property? Would you get to it off of West Parkway?
Yes, sir. It makes a bend right there.
Okay.
On the land itself, yes, but,
Conn's Road's
Via the
right
land.
here. He's got frontage on Conn's, and he's got frontage on West Parkway and at Ted's Lane right here.
But I'm just wondering how you could get to this property. You said it's,
It's gonna be connected to here. He's just cutting, he just wants to rezone these 3.
Oh, that's it,
Which-
okay.
which
You still
is-
have
which are
access
fronted
from-
by West Park.
And they get to them
On
off the-
Cons.
okay.
Right.
Well, yeah,
Cons
that's
will
no
still
problem.
have.
Lynn, what's the amount of frontage on Con? Can you pull that up?
It's 109.91.
109.
The reason why I'm bringing it up, if he ever wants to
Okay.
develop that whole tract, you're gonna need 60 feet just for the road itself. So just, it's got 100. So.
Mr. Clem Corville,
Yeah, I-
he's interested in the land for cattle.
Yeah.
So we pretty much, there's no more developing on my part, by no means. It would, because he's wanting that land for his cattle. So he's.
Anybody have any questions?
And I think too, this is gonna be associated with the new sewer system in Lobdell, is that correct? I don't have any.
Anybody else have any questions? Anybody in the audience have any comments? Yes, sir, Randy. Just
Hi,
sign the
my
list,
name is-
please, ma'am. Sign the book, please, ma'am, so you state your name for the,
Yes, my name is Dana Ayo, and I reside at 1369 Parkway Drive. I've owned that property since '98. My parents built the house when I was 10 years old. And a large portion of that property basically was family-owned by my mother's family. And we're concerned as to the trailer park being directly in our backyards. If you would take a look at it, the lots that the homes are on, they're not large at all. So when you walk out of my house, I may be able to step 20 feet, and that's where that property line begins. So they would be directly on my home, at my home. I'm wondering, he said that there will only be 3 mobile homes. It's a huge tract of land. And I find it hard to believe that they only plan to place 3 mobile homes on that tract of land. So I'm wondering what else are in the plans for that particular property? How do you plan to divide the property from our residents to their mobile home, trailer park, whatever? He did state that he cleaned the property, in which he did clean the majority of the property. He had a lot of trees removed. However, there's a tree directly at my bedroom window that is huge. That was not touched. That was actually on his property. There was and it may be even before he purchased the land, there was a fence, and that fence was removed. And it may have been prior to him purchasing it, but if you look at where that fence line ran, because the stakes are still there, you can tell that the tree was within that property. And so we're just very concerned with the traffic, with not being safe, because we know the type of tenants that a mobile home can attract, even, some rental property, because then you bring in a lot of people that's on Section 8 and things of that nature. So we're very concerned about our safety, because once Ted Blanchard purchased the majority of the property, that brought in a lot of people renting. And we just don't want it infiltrated any more than it is.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I missed it. Where are you located at? Ms. Lee?
My residence
I'm
is
trying
at
to see on here.
1369 West Parkway.
Okay.
1369?
1369, yeah.
1390.
okay, when you leave Menors on West, bless you. When you leave Menors on West Parkway, you go into a curve.
Okay, right there is
And right as you come out the
1373.
curve, they got
Okay.
3 or 4 houses. Do you
Right
live
here,
in one of those?
1373. That's my
see
aunt's
69.
property. That's
Yeah.
there, and she's right here.
Okay.
And then the next property, yes, is my property.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, it is, if you see that walking out of my back door, I mean, it's even
And
closer
where
than
are
it looks
these
right
3
there.
lots in comparison to that now?
But his lots are up the road.
Okay.
correct?
What is directly behind my property? So
Okay.
am I speaking,
Yeah, but his lots are up the road, up West Parkway.
not the entire thing? Okay, that's what I was
No.
wondering when he said 3.
He's not doing, excuse me, he's not
Yeah,
doing
He's
anything.
gonna be way off from
He's
you.
gonna be down the road.
Okay,
He's not gonna be behind you or anything,
okay.
correct?
Because I did receive the letter as well.
Okay.
And it
No,
was,
that's legit question.
yeah, and it was,
Understand.
said before that they were gonna do a track of mobile homes. We still. Okay, okay.
He's, he,
I grew up with cows, and I think I prefer cows than humans, right? With the way that the crime is now, I prefer cows than humans, so.
that's why I wanted to know where you were, because
Yeah.
I was trying to see if, I didn't know if you were that close to him.
There's a good distance between
There's a
you
good
and where
distance.
the lots he's talking about.
I'll
that's
take the
good
I'll take the
questions.
cattle
Thank
any
you,
day.
ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments? Anybody in the audience have any comments? Being none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to dispense with the item for Mr. Randy Wells.
And Mr. Chairman, before you vote, just for, want to let everybody in the audience know, every item on tonight's agenda is coming up again this Thursday night at 6:30. I'll just go ahead and make that blanket statement. That's why I ran out of her room a few minutes ago, was to catch those folks. So everything on the agenda tonight comes back up this Thursday at 6:30. Thank you.
5:30. 5:30.
Oh, goodness. I better go chase it.
I made a motion, Mr. John,
Well, no, I-
to approve, rezone from
Hold on,
agriculture.
let her get it up that way you can punch motion. Oh, motion, you already made it. Second by Ross. Oh, y'all ahead of me.
Approval.
Man, I
Moving
was
fast
busy
here.
listening to the captain there instead of looking at the screen. Okay. Motion by Gary to approve it and second
And
by
second by Russ.
Russell. Okay. Y'all mark your screen. Okay, it's been approved unanimous, so it'll come back up at the council meeting. Good seeing you, Randy.
Thanks.
Okay. This time I'm gonna open up the public hearing for file number 2018-09, special uses in an I-1 light industrial zone to store or park more than 25 trucks. 1737 Highway 190 West, Port Allen. Tract B2 containing 19 acres for R&J Trucking.
Well, I guess I'm supposed to come up here.
Yes, sign the list, please, and state your name for the record.
Riley Blanchette, owner of RJ's Transportation. We purchased the property. I've been in y'all area, kind of under the radar for 20-something years. I've been in the Port of Baton Rouge then. We've been renting from Marshall's Construction, and we've outgrown the place. So we purchased this property, looking to build a big office there and just moving the whole operation in that area, on that lot, or on that, whatever you want to call it.
Lynn, can you click the zoning on it just to see the adjacent as well?
Are you gonna be cleaning any trailers out?
Well, I don't have any trailers on there. We're gonna clean that lot up, but we don't have any trailers on that property.
This is what
There's
auto
there's
auction
an
used to
office
be.
in the front, a double-wide office building,
Yeah,
that's
I've seen
gone. Right now, I think Specialized Industries, the sandblasting company has it. They're leasing it from me right now.
Well, is this what auto auction used to be?
Well, that auction deal, that property, I'm working
You
on
used to
that.
park
But
the
yeah,
cars back there?
yeah, we're behind that, yes, sir.
He's here.
Yeah.
Mr. John, I had a few questions. When I rode by there, I guess, what was the name of the place you just said, Mr. John? That's the place right past you? It's kind of growed up or something, is that right?
That piece right there, yeah, that's not
Yeah.
ours.
Okay, so you're where that
Where that
double
long
wide
road.
trailer, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
sir, going all the
So
way to
you're
the
gonna
tracks.
build, I got you.
And we'll build
It
a
was kinda
shop.
hard to find, I thought I found it.
We'll build a office adjacent to the big shop in the back. The building back there is 34,000 square feet, and we're gonna build a big office back there.
All the way to the rear,
Yes, sir.
I see, okay.
Well, I'm confused. This thing says, to store more than 25 trucks. I assume the truck and a trailer?
18 wheels.
Yeah.
He's got a trucking operation.
We run we run 180 trucks. We have a terminal in Houston and a terminal here.
Okay, so my
Drivers normally don't come in, but we have a
my
lot of.
question again, are you gonna clean any truck, 18-wheeler trailers on the location?
Oh, no, cleaning wise, no. Meaning, we might wash the outsides of tankers.
No, I'm talking about clean the inside.
Oh, no. No, sir.
Okay. That's a nice big piece of property. Okay, anybody else on the commission have any questions or comments? Being none, anybody in the audience? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Dents. I reside at 3942. That property is sectioned off. There's two parts. There's two homes on the property listed as A and B. The overall owner of the property is Willie Dent Sr., which is my grandfather. He's 87, unable to attend this evening. So I'm representing for the entire family, being that my grandmother is deceased. Her children fall directly into that part of that property. Not really any objections as far as right now, just some questions about there being a reason for us being notified what is to come. Will it be dangers, noise? It'll be a 24-hour type of action there, where it would interfere with residents sleeping or things like that. That's what we want to know. Because again, my grandfather and my mother reside in one residence. She's 68, about to be 70, and he's 87. So it's an older community, and those are some of the concerns there. Again, we don't know what type of products will be transported in the trucks. I've known of the company for years, you know, never heard anything bad about it, but just some questions and concerns. I'm going to take this information, this feedback, back to the family. We have a family meeting scheduled tomorrow with about 40 of us, and that will decide what's going to happen on Thursday at the parish meeting.
Yeah. I understand. I know between the trains in the back and the trucks on 190 in the front, I don't know if it'd make more noise than them, but it's very doubtful.
Well, we don't hear the trucks on the highway. There is from time to time a train. They don't blow as much in that specific area because there's not any crossings there, with the exception of trucks that would come through maybe that trailer park, that, what is that, South River Road? South,
Well, there's a galvanizing plant behind it back up in there.
right. We never, now they don't make any noise. They had some spray and stuff like that, and, you know, which,
I figured the train had to blow the cross at that crossing.
Yes, sir. It does from time to time, but those are far and frequent with the train. But we, like I said, I just the questions are what will be added to the property as for not just the trucks being there, but for future.
I understand.
And it's just, the limit is just 25 trucks. They're just going to be parked there for like overnight, or will this be an all-night thing?
Sure, it's just as they finish their route, you know. If they're early, they're getting there during the day. If they're late, they get there after dark. I'm sure that's the way it's picked up for most trucks, you know, that are going across country.
Right, so basically what you're saying, this is a majorly, daytime, what's the word I want to use?
I'm just saying.
Like a job. Most of the action will happen during normal working hours. Maybe some late, you get a truck or two here at night, but it's not like one leaving at 2 o'clock, one coming back at 3 o'clock, and all night. It's like a 24-hour operation, is what I'm asking.
Well, they might leave out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You can't say they don't. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, if you pass a truck stop at nighttime, they're full of truck stop for the night, you know, so.
Right.
We're not traveling on the road at nighttime, so.
Right. And that makes sense for a truck stop, but what I'm saying, normally, truck stops aren't built in the middle of residential
Possible
neighborhoods.
they be in there
Right,
24 hours a day, you know, but
right.
you know what they have, what their schedule is, and they got certain customers they gotta satisfy. That's what it's in the rental business, I'm sure, is you rent the trucks to go take care of a project, so when they need him, he's gotta send the trucks there.
No, I don't disagree with that. All I'm saying is normally, it depends on which one comes first. If you build a residence beside a truck stop, you would expect the noise. But this being a residential area and the truck stop coming into it, those are just some of the concerns.
Sir, so the houses you're talking about are on the Ladder Bend Road is what you're referring to?
Yes, and we're the property that's the furthest back. There's one other property that's lived on. The owner of that property recently passed, but her children still own that property. They're younger, probably doesn't bother them as much.
I think his building's gonna be further to the back, so if your home is further to the back, you should be all right.
No, the office and the building is, but I mean, so the front portion of the property won't be improved, there won't be any trucks?
It's gonna be for entrance and exit and parking. It's gonna be a big parking lot, but not.
Can you get up and explain that, sir? Maybe just give us a little detail on your operation?
Do you intend to build an office building
I've
there?
already looked at it, and believe me, I don't want to bother anybody over there. I've already thought of building a fence. We'll probably put a fence on that, just to prevent noise and all that, behind all the homes on our property. I don't see the property so big, I don't foresee anything even going near him. All our tankers, what we have, will be in the back.
You will have an office on the property, though?
The office will be
In the rear.
adjacent to the new, to that big shop in the back. It's gonna be tied to it. There's an office, a two-story
It'd
office
be
there.
back by the railroad track then?
Yes, sir. But, and nothing, I don't foresee anything being parked up there.
That was just
Yeah.
question, most of the trucks
And-
will be in that area.
Right.
Way to the back.
And then in the future, on the road, you know, that is a limestone road, but I plan on blacktopping down the road, you know, just for dust and this and that, you know, just, if that was the issue that people were concerned, but. And we are asking for more than 25 trucks on the property, correct?
That's what it
Yes.
says.
Yeah.
That's what it says.
I mean, we do have a fleet, but realistically, if you go to my yard right now, there might be 10 trucks on the yard. Drivers do come in and out at night, but most of our work is rolling through the day, and we have trucks going from California to the Carolinas, you know, so, I mean, they're going, those guys. Biggest time you'll see is trucks and trailers on the yard will be on weekends. That's when drivers come in Friday night or Friday, and they're unhooking and they're taking the whole weekend off. That's when most of our equipment's sitting on the yard. You know, but you gotta remember, we have a terminal in Houston that's running 50 trucks, and we never see them. So, all right?
Just real
Anybody
quick.
got any questions for him?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we got one.
John, one question, just,
Hold on, let Ms. Jackson, no, we want to yield to the ladies. You had a question?
Yeah, I just want to know, out of curiosity, what kind of material will you be hauling?
We haul chemicals. It can be anything from calcium chloride, which is non-regulated, to caustic, sulfurics, hydrochloric, which the galvanizing plant uses in the back. That's their main deal for galvanizing. Just about everything, except hydrocarbons. We don't haul any hydrocarbons.
Okay, no.
I just wanted, just for the record, can you explain the reason for the special use? It's heavy industrial warehouse, is that correct? Is that the reason for the special use in the I-1? Because it's currently zoned that way, so.
The special use is actually for truck and heavy equipment. If you look at the truck and heavy equipment definition in chapter 101, you're limited to 25 vehicles. And let me just pull this up if you got just a second here. I can pull this up real quick. So if you look at the definition of truck and heavy equipment, which he plans on having on the site, this land use is permitted in some districts. The total number of units shall not exceed 25 unless more units are granted by the parish council as part of a special use permit hearing, and that's what you're doing tonight. And then chapter.
Appendix A, what is that applicable to?
Yes, so,
Special use, I was trying to.
correct. In Appendix A, if you look at that table of permitted uses, pull that up real quick. If you look under truck and heavy equipment, truck and heavy equipment is permitted in I-1, but again, it points you back to the definition where he's limited to 25. But because there are provisions in the definition for you to grant him a special use permit, you're granting him a special use permit for additional units beyond the 25. So it comes more from the definition section than it does from the table. But you have to read that definition, and that's where it gives you the authority to grant a special use permit. Okay. If I can just address the noise real quick, Mr. John, I want to let Mr. Dent, your last name is Dent, D-E-N-T-S? Let Mr. Dent know we do have a section in the code, section 58-4, where certain activities are prohibited between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. And some of those prohibited activities have to do with operation of certain vehicles that are creating excessive noise, any exhaust without a muffler, and any loading and unloading of vehicles. All those activities are prohibited. So we'd like to let our citizens know what their rights are in terms of contacting the sheriff's department. If any noise exceeds the threshold, they can always contact the sheriff's office and get it addressed through the sheriff's office. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Okay, anybody else?
Now, I got one more question I want to ask the gentleman.
Yes, sir.
And you might have said this, if you did, I apologize, but, so it sounds like to me, you're gonna be doing a lot of staging in and out, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of drivers, drivers that are coming in, grabbing another tanker, dropping one off, and going back out.
So, just where on this property will that mainly be happening?
All the way in the back near that, look, I'm on 2.5 acres where I'm at. So this right here is, yeah, so this right here, everything basically gonna be, where you see the white is. That's basically all we need. You know, that little dog leg that kind of the cemetery comes down on the left, that right there will be, like, I'll store some old molasses tankers. We're gonna limestone the whole yard. The whole place is gonna be limestone, except the very front where Mr. Denton and Amara. We're gonna leave that as grass, but we're gonna level it all off, dig a ditch behind those homes, come around to drain it better. But that's our plans.
I believe years ago, there used to be a sandblasting plant, and then they started to have auctions once or twice a year over there for a while, and I hadn't seen much going over there lately. Okay. Carrie, that's all you had?
That's all right, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, at this time, I'm gonna close the public hearing and entertain a motion to dispense with item number 2018-09. Okay, well, no, we've already got a motion by Ms. Jackson and second by Carrie Densel.
Ms. Jackson, is that for approval?
Now, that was to approve it, Ms. Jackson? Okay. Sounds good. This time, if you'd mark your ballot. Okay. Well, it's been approved. It'll be coming up at the council meeting, so, okay. Thank you, Mayor. It was good seeing you.
Thank y'all. And listen, I wouldn't want none of y'all jobs. I can tell you right now. I'm gonna stick in Rosedale. I don't want this stuff.
Everything tonight's been in my area, you know, so it hasn't been in anybody else's. I'm the only one that's up here tonight, so. Like I said, I thank all y'all for coming here tonight. Any other business?
No, sir.
Ms. Jackson? Oh, go ahead. Mark your ballot. Okay. This time I'm gonna open up the Planning Commission meeting. I believe y'all all had a copy of the minutes of the previous meeting. If there's no additions or corrections, please mark your ballot on approving them. Motion by
I got
Russell,
Russell.
second by Joyce. Okay. To be approved, mark your ballot, they have been approved. Correspondence,
Same correspondence as last. I'm clear.
okay. Public hearing, at this time, I'm gonna open up the public hearing for file number 2018-11, showing an exchange of property for the remaining portion of tract E4, E5, and E6 of the Catherine E. Kistner tract into E6A and the remaining portion of tract E4 for Mr. Clyde Ewing.
Hush.
Is anybody here?
Ralph is here. Ralph has it.
Good evening, gentlemen.
You've had a full schedule tonight.
This is actually one of my shorter ones, believe it or not, I've been at. What we're requesting is approval of plan for modification of the lots we have with an additional resub, adding one lot to the southeast corner of Mr. Ewing's property. That's the long and short of it. In the configuration you see at top, that's the original configuration of the southeast quadrant of the
Is that
property.
where they got the trailers parked? A little piece of property there, the southeast corner?
No, he had some heavy equipment in that area, unless he just put some on there just recently.
Oh, no. They had a couple of camper trailers.
They were there, they're moved.
Yeah, there you go.
moved them all.
Yeah. That, yeah, he purchased the property back from that gentleman.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
On screens, is the current configuration of the southeast quadrant of the property. Mr. Ewing now owns the E6 tract. So what he's doing is adjusting the tracks back down to the other, as far as depth goes, the tracks E1, E2, and E3 on the southwest quadrant of the property. And then we're picking up one additional track along the front to be in concurrence with the other additional E1 through E3s. The remainder of the property at this time is going to be remaining a agricultural tract at the present time. The current zoning for the property is zone I1 to the front, ag to the rear, and track would be track E6A is zoned I2.
Okay.
By all means.
You're taking E5, and basically you're trying to make those equivalent to the E1, 2, and 3, is that correct?
Right, E5 and E6 line, if you look at the top, it's actually, that line is gonna be shifted down to be equal to the same depth of E1, E2, and E3. So the lots will, that particular area would not be as deep, as they sit at the present time, okay? Then what we're doing is taking E5 and creating an E5A and an E5B, taking a little bit of property out of E6 to make the adjacent E5B track. And then because of resubbing numbers, how things work, that E6 will become E6A.
Okay, so you're not necessarily creating, that's not a flag lot, you're actually moving that line.
Yeah, we're moving the line back down from the top.
Yeah,
And-
that's okay, so E5B east to create?
No, E5A, E5B, E6A, that line is actually being moved to the south, that north line.
I got that.
Okay. So if you look on the plat, originally E5, there's a dash dot line that goes through the middle, not quite the middle, but E5B, if y'all have the copy of the plat. So what we're doing is taking E5A, making those 150-foot wide. E5B is going to have a portion of E5A and a portion of E6, making E5B at 150-foot wide. Okay, and then the remaining is going to remain E6A.
Okay, now, you've got a canal coming across that, Grand Bayou?
Grand Bayou, yes, sir.
Okay. It looks like that one little piece of ground is separated from the rest of it. Will this be usable?
Grand Bayou is a water body at this present time.
It's a what?
It's a water body. It's still on fee title by Mr. Ewing.
But I mean, you're gonna put a bridge to get across?
There's already a culvert in place.
Oh, they do?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, sounds good.
It's a complicated corner, just to be honest with you guys.
Okay, anybody else have any questions up here? Carrie, anybody in the audience? Being none, thank you, sir. Okay, at this time, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion. Oh, okay.
He's
Russell
fast
Valley
tonight. And that's a
Okay, is there any
motion to approve.
discussion? All those in favor, please mark your ballot. Okay. Been approved, like they'll be coming up at the council meeting. That's this week or next week?
This week, Thursday night.
This week, Thursday night, yeah. Okay. Any other business? Being none, Ms. Jackson? Motion second.
Y'all get ahead of me. Y'all,
I wanna
it's hard
thank
to
y'all
try
for
to stay
coming.
to know.
I appreciate all the comments everybody had and the questions. We had a very good meeting tonight.
We had a busy one for a change.
It was a busy one, yeah.
Busy one. Hey, Mr. Ray, hit me a,
Thank you,
hit me
Karen
a
Rusty.
go.
Huh?
Hi, John. Thank you, sir.
We had a good turnout. Maybe to see you at the planning.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. It went smooth. Everything went well. They were a little faster than me. Have you had one yet? Whenever you're ready, you just call me. We'll inspect